Yes, be attentive everyone. Now today we'll study this the last topic in the chapter. In practical questions, then we will see theory at the end. Periodic cost of defined benefits. Now first of all, what are defined benefits? Defined benefits are those benefits which we know in advance, and the conditions and terms are also defined, which we are going to pay in future to the employees when they leave the organization or they retire. Okay, are all of five of you comfortably able to understand what is going on? Okay. Take care of the bench also. Have some concern for the bench also. Malal is sitting on that bench only since many days. So, first of all, yes, silence everyone. What do you mean by defined benefits? Those benefits which you are giving to the employees when they retire or leave the organization. The terms and conditions of which are well defined in advance. Like for example, gratuity. The terms and conditions are well defined in advance. That he will get 1 month or 15 days salary, which is at the time of retirement or leaving the organization for each completed year of service. This is considered as defined benefits. Okay, why we call it as defined? Because the terms and conditions of that benefit is totally defined and amount can be calculated in advance. You can work out right now also what the person will get if he retires after 15 years. Therefore, it is called defined benefits. Now, periodic cost. Periodic cost means every year what will be the cost to the organization for that defined benefit. Every year what will be the cost to the organization for that defined benefit. For example, we discussed if you require in the class example, so 5 lakh of gratuity to be paid after 10 years. Then periodic cost 5 lakhs divided by 10? 50,000. But actually it's not 50,000 because we need to pay that 50,000 after 10 years. So we find its present value. So for every year we need to find what is the periodic cost of defined benefits. Did you understand the point, everyone? So your defined benefits means those benefits which you are going to give to the employees when they retire or leave the organization, but the terms and conditions of that benefits are well defined in advance. Amount of that benefit can be calculated in advance. It's called defined benefit. And periodic cost means what will be the cost to the employer every year. Okay, for paying that amount, what will be the cost for the employer every year. So how to find that periodic cost? Write down present value of current service cost. Same thing, present value of current service cost means 5 lakhs divided by 10, 50,000 gratuity required every year. But 50,000 will not be taken, its present value will be taken into consideration. Any confusion in this? In that we will add interest on past service cost. This is current, this is past. Current year we have to keep aside 50,000 will take its present value, that is current service cost. And whatever is amount kept aside in past, on that we will have to pay interest to the employee. Whatever amount is accumulated in past and invested, that interest what you receive on that investment also belongs to the employee. For example, provident fund. If you keep provident fund aside, then interest on provident fund also is not income for the business, it's a liability. You have to give it to the employees when they retire. So whatever amount has been kept aside in past, first year you will not have this. You will have this from second year onwards. Then from second year onwards, whatever amount is invested in the past years, interest of that is also cost for the employee. Is everyone clear with this? Then further we will subtract return on plan assets. Return on plan assets will always calculate on its fair value. So whatever actual return we receive on the investments, suppose we plan that if you keep aside 50,000 every year at 10% rate of interest, you'll be able to meet the amount which is given to the employee after retirement. Means if you earn interest of 10%, you'll be able to pay that 50,000 after 10 years for every year. You actually invest in 11%, then you will not give 11% to the employer. You have to give only 10%. So remaining 1% will be the gain for the business. Employer will keep it in its own business. So therefore, first we add interest on 10%, which is 10%. Interest on past service cost, suppose, which is 10%. And we get a return, suppose, of 11%. Then that 1% extra will remain with the company. So with that 1%, the cost to the employer will decrease. Because you get more returns than what was expected, so cost will decrease. Okay, and in case if you get 9% return, then cost to the employer will increase. So therefore, we add the actual interest on past service cost and subtract the return which we actually receive on our investments. Is everyone clear with this? Then further you will add or subtract. Further you will add or subtract actuarial loss. Loss you will add, because loss will be the cost to the organization. So that you will add. We are finding the cost. And if it is a gain, you will minus. Because of actuarial gain, the cost to the organization will decrease. Did you understand this? So loss we will add, and actuarial gain we will minus. Because of gain, the cost to the organization will decrease. Is everyone clear with this? So it can be positive if it is loss, it can be negative if it is gain. And finally you will add amortization of past service cost. Now what is this amortization of past service cost? Suppose, when does this happen? Suppose 2005, you decided that you will give 10% benefit to the employee when he retires, which comes to 50,000. 2005, 6, 7, you kept aside 10% benefit also. Now from 2008, the company's policies changed. The employee's loyalty increased, his benefits increased, and you decided that we will not pay 10%. Listen to my explanation carefully. 2005, we decided we will pay 10%. 10%. Whenever he retires. Suppose he retires in 2015, so 10 years. 5, 6, 7, 3 years we kept aside 10% amount also. Then from 2008 we decided, looking at the employee services, that when he retires in 2015, now we will not give him 10%, we will give him 12% of the amount of his salary when he retires. With retrospective effect. It has to be with retrospective effect. Means what happens? In 5, 6, 7 we kept aside, but from 8 we decided we have to keep aside. From 8 we are going to keep aside 12%, but then extra 2%, do we have to now keep aside for the last 3 years also or not? 5, 6, 7 we kept aside only 10%. Now we decided to increase it to 12%. So for those 3 years, now we have to keep aside extra 2%, 2%, 2%, 6%. That we will keep aside extra in the remaining 7 years. So that 2% for last 3 years, suppose it comes to 30,000, 3 years amount. Then entire 30,000 will not keep aside in 2008. 7 more years are remaining. So 30,000 divided by 7, whatever it comes, 4,000 and something. So from 2008 onwards, we'll keep 12% aside plus 4,000 past amortization. So what will happen? Last 3 years, extra amount also will get managed in the next 7 years. That is called amortization of past service cost. But when will this occur? Only when you increase the benefit. In coming years, if you increase the benefit, then only you will have amortization of past service cost. Is everyone clear with this? And what you will get is periodic cost of defined benefits. So this is how we define the periodic cost of defined benefits. Once again, how do we define the periodic cost of defined benefits? First, present value of current service cost. Okay. In the present value of current service cost, we will add interest on past service cost, what actually we have to give to the employees to meet up that requirement. From that, we'll subtract return what we get on plan assets fair value. That may be more, that may be less. Automatically adding this and subtracting it. If return is more, our cost will decrease. If return is less, our cost will increase. Further, you add if there is actuarial loss, because loss will increase our cost. And you subtract if there is actuarial gain. Gain will decrease our cost. And if the rate of benefit has been increased in the subsequent years, then we'll have amortization of past service cost. Whatever amount in past we have kept aside as now differential amount will amortize and write off over the next remaining life of the employee's retirement. Any confusion in this? So look at question number 9. Question number 9. Be attentive. Page 57. Did you all bring the PFI's book also? You can see on the last page the table of present value is there in that book. So no need to issue separate tables. Past questions also what we have done, you can take the table from that book only. Okay. Page number 76. Page 76 of PFI's book, you'll find that table. Do you get it, everyone? We have to see which table? Second table, present value interest factor on page 76. Always. Okay. Look at the next, page 57, question number 9. Indigo Limited agrees to make a gratuity payment to its only employee, Mr. B. They have given you an example of only one employee, Mr. B. Indigo Limited agrees to make a gratuity payment to its only employee, Mr. B, at the time of Mr. B's retirement. Now this arrangement was begun on 1st January 2005. We started making this arrangement from 2005. And Mr. B plans to retire at December 31, 2012. So how many years? Always count it. 1st January 2005 we decided. And he retires in 31st December 2012. So not 7 years, 8 years. 2005, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Is everyone clear with this? However, contributions will go only for 7 years. Because you will not make contribution on 1st January. You will start making the contribution from 31st December 2005. So contributions will go for 7 years. Any confusion in this? Further. When his salary is expected to be 80,000 per year, when he retires in 2012, his salary is expected to be 80,000 not per month, per year. Okay. Specific provisions of gratuity plan are as follows. A. Originally the plan, originally underline the word means this will come. Sentence itself indicates. Originally we decided something else, later on we would have increased it. Originally, the plan called for a single payment of 10% of Mr. B's terminal salary. Terminal means when he is terminated or when he leaves the organization. Okay, it's given in bracket. Salary at retirement. Per year of service rendered. Alright, per year means single payment of 10% of Mr. B's terminal salary, but per year of service rendered. Beginning January 1, 2005 and effective January 1, 2007, this performance was increased to 12%. Did you get the point? So 2005 we will keep aside 10%. 2006 we will keep aside 10%. From 2007 onwards we will keep aside 12% plus 2% extra of 2005 and 6 divided by remaining number of years. Means 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 divided by 6. 6 more years we have to give more contribution of 2% of past 2 years. Okay, I read this point once again, listen carefully. Okay. Originally the plan called for a single payment of 10% of Mr. B's terminal salary. That is salary at the time of retirement per year of service rendered beginning from January 1, 2005. So initially we decided to give 10% of his salary at the time of retirement as gratuity for every year. Effective from January 1, 2007, this performance, after 2007 put comma. Effective from January 1, 2007, comma, this performance was increased to 12%. So 2005 we will keep aside 10% current service cost. 2006 will keep aside 10%. 2007 will keep aside 12% plus 2005 and 6. Now we have to from 10% increase it to. So whatever is the differential amount of 2005 and 6 divided by remaining how many years? 6 years. 2007, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12 divided by 6 years, that will be the amortization of past service cost. So that will come only in 2007 onwards. Okay, this last item will not come in 2005 and 2006. This last item will come only 2007 onwards. Any confusion in this? Companies' actuaries have determined market yield at the balance sheet date on government bonds of 10%. So companies' actuaries means valuers who value the life of the person. They have determined that they will receive a return of 10% on investments. An interest rate of 12% is expected to be earned on assets invested in plant assets. So 10% we will count interest on past service cost, and return on plant assets will be calculated at the rate of 12% on fair value of assets. Do you understand this? We have decided that we will keep aside the amount of government securities which will give a return of 10%. So we assure that the employees will get return of 10%. So whatever is the interest on past service cost will count at the rate of 10%. But when we have invested the planned assets, we expect a return of 12% on that. Any confusion in this? The net periodic defined benefit cost for each year is to be funded at the end of the year. So 31st December every year will keep the amount aside. The fair value of assets in the plan at the beginning of first 3 years is as follows. Beginning of 2005 nil, because this is the first year you are going to make the contribution. 2006 in the beginning, whatever you invested in 2005, that value is 4105. So in 2005, we will have no return on plan assets. We will have no interest on past service cost because it's the first year. Is everyone clear with this? In 2006, we'll calculate this at the rate of 10%, this at the rate of 12% on 4105. Any confusion in this? In 2007, you'll calculate this return of 12% on 11,000. Anyone having any doubt in this? Once again, in 2005, you are given only 3 years information. Means we have to do this PCDB's calculation for 3 years. Okay, 2005, 2006, 2007, not for all the years until 2012. We have to do it only for 3 years. In 2005, what will be the return? 0. It's the first year. Okay, in the year 2005, no interest, no return. Any confusion in this? 2006, 10%, 12% of what value? 4105. In 2007, 12% of what value? 11,000. You will understand this? Main question is not given, so I don't find PCDB. Find PCDB for 2005, 2006 and 2007. Any confusion in this? All are clear with it? So let us do it first for the year 2005. In 2005, let us discuss it already. You have present value of current service cost, yes or no? Yes. In first year, will you have any interest on past service cost? No. Any return? No. In the first year, no actually a loss or gain, that will start from second year only. And this will come only from 2007. So in the first year, you have only first year. Do you understand this? Second year onwards, you have interest also, return also. Gain or loss will generally not take place in second year, because whatever you invest at the end of first year, that itself will be there in the beginning of second year. So this you will not have in the second year, this also you will not have in the second year. This comes from 2007. So 2006 will have these three things, and 2007 will have everything. Did everyone understand it? So first we calculate for 2006. Now, yes, best of luck. 2006, first we have to have present value of current service cost. Present value of current service cost. Okay. Sorry, 2005. For 2005, first we'll have present value of current service cost. Now, what is his salary estimated at the time of retirement? What is his salary? 80,000. We have to give what percentage? 10%. Means we have to keep aside 8,000 every year. But this 8,000 we have to give in 2012, which we are going to invest. So in 2005, do we need to keep aside 8,000 or less? Less. We have to find its present value. Therefore, we call it as present value of current service cost. So how will you count this? 80,000 into 10% we have to keep aside. Okay. And this will multiply with present value interest factor 10%. Okay, present value. Why? Because government bonds are going to yield a rate of? Government bonds are going to yield a rate of? So, we have to estimate the present value at the rate of 10%. And, as I said, if you keep aside this amount in 2005 end, then you will receive this interest only for 2006, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 7 years only. So, first year what you keep aside, you cannot expect return of 8 years, because 31st December 2005 you keep that amount aside. So you will get it only for 7 years. So 80,000 is 10%. As such, we need to pay how much when he retires? 8,000. But we don't have to keep aside 8,000. We have to keep aside how much? Now see that page 76 table of PFI family. Second table. Do you find 10% column? All of you? And 7 years, where do they intersect? 0.513. Does everyone find that? So, 0.513. What is 8,000? 0.513? 410? 4. 4105. Reason, last table you can see. What is the fair value in the beginning of 2006? Last table in the question. 4105. It's quite obvious. What you have kept aside on 31st December 2005, the fair value, what I was discussing is, if you keep aside 4105 at the end of 2005, it will become 8,000 on 31st December 2012, what we need to give to the employee. Okay, so we don't have to keep aside 8,000. You keep aside and you invested at 10%, so it will become 8,000 in 2012. Cross check. 4105 plus 10%. This it will become in 2006 end plus 10%. This it will become in 2007 end plus 10%. This it will become in 2008 end plus 10%. 2009 end plus 10%, 2010 end plus 10%, 2011 end plus 10%. What does it come to? Means 8,000. So you don't have to keep aside 8,000. In 2005 you will keep aside and invest it at the rate of 10%. So in 2012 that amount will become 8,000 what we have thought of giving to the employee. So how do you find this present value of current service cost is clear? 80,000's 10% we have to give in 8,000, but it is going to be invested at 10%. So we multiply with present value interest factor of 10% for 7 years. So if you require 8,000 in 2012, what is its present value in 2005? 4105. Okay. And as I said, in 2005 you do not have any of these things. So this itself is periodic cost of defined benefit. Okay, in the first year you do not have any other thing. So this itself is periodic cost of defined benefit. Any confusion in this? Now we do this calculation for 2006. First of all, present value of current service cost. Present value of current service cost. Raise your hand. How will you count? In 2006, what amount should be kept aside? Current service cost means 2006 amount. Suraj?
80,000 into 10%. We have added 10% into 6 years.
Correct. 80,000 is 10%, but then now 2006 what you keep aside will get invested for how many years? 6 years. So there you count PVI of 10% and how many years? 6 years. Did everyone understand this? So write down 80,000 into 10% into PVIF 10% and 6 years. So 8,000 into. Now see in that table, PFI book page 76. What is the rate for 10% in 6 years? 0.564. 4512. So in second year, if you keep aside 4512, it will become 8,000. Cross check 4512 plus 10%. This will become in 2007 plus 10%. 2008 plus 10%. 2009 plus 10%. 2010 plus 10%. 2011 plus 10%. 2012. Does it become 8,000 or not? Yes. So if you keep aside 4512 in 2006, it will become 8,000 in 2012. Any confusions up till here? Now, last year whatever amount we kept aside, on that current year now we have to pay interest on past service cost. So how will you count this interest on past service? Now, in the 2005 year we had only first item. In 2006 we have first also, second also, third also. Fourth, fifth will not be there. So in the second year we have first 3 items. So how will you count this interest on past service cost? 4105 into 10%. This is what we have to give to the employee. So further in 4512 you will add interest on past service cost. So last year we kept aside 4105. Okay, last year we kept aside 4105. On that, 10% interest will accrue for the employee in 2006. What is that coming to? 410.5. 411. 410.5 is 411. Any confusion in this? All are clear with it? And we will count return on plan assets. Return on plan assets. See in the last table, what is the fair value in the beginning of the year? 2006. In the question last table, everyone. 4105. On that, we are second information we have read that 10% interest we have to give to the employer, but we earn a return of actually 12%. So on 4105, same amount, we earned a return of 12% in 2006. That we will minus 4. So what is the actual cost for the employer? We have to keep aside 4512 plus we have to give to the employer 411 interest of last year minus the employer received the interest of 493. So finally the employer has to keep aside from P&L account what amount? 4430. This is periodic cost of defined benefit. Reason? We have to as such keep aside how much? 4512, but we keep aside only 4430. Why? How much less we keep aside? 4512 minus 4430? 82 rupees. Why we keep aside 82 rupees less? Because we actually received interest of which will get reinvested. And out of 493 we had to reinvest only 411. So remaining 82 less amount we will provide. Because 82 rupees extra is available from the interest what we actually are receiving on our investments. Did everyone understand it? So you simply go with this table, but the logic is we had to keep aside 4512. We expected interest of 411, but we received interest of 490. 82 rupees extra interest we received. So from 4512 we keep 82 rupees less aside. So from P&L account we don't have to keep aside 4512, we have to keep aside only 4430. Any confusion in this? Now same calculation we have to do it for 2007. 2007 we'll have everything. Okay, in 2007 you will have everything. Now, first of all, present value of current service cost. Raise your hand, how will you count it? Present value of current service cost. Weber.
30,000 into 12% into DIF of 10% of 5 years.
Very good, correct. From 2007 onwards, we have decided first information that will increase the performance to 12%. So now, switch it off first. Now in 2007 onwards, we don't have to pay 80,000's 10%. We have to pay 80,000's 12% in 2012. So how will you count it? 80,000 into 12%. But don't count PVIF at 12%. In government bonds, we are going to invest it at the rate of 10% only. But to the employee, we have to pay instead of 80,000's 10%, 8,000, 80,000's 12%, 9,600. But investment is going to be done at 10% only. So interest factor don't make it 12%. It will remain 10%. Able to understand this? And how many more years? 5 more years. So 80,000's 12% is 9,600. And now see in the table, page 76 of PFI Bandit, 10% and 5 years. 0.621. Five nine six two. Cross check. 5962 plus 10%. This will become in 2008. Okay, plus 10%. This will become in 2009. Plus 10%, 2010. Plus 10%, 2011. Plus 10%, 2012. Does it come to 9,600? Now we need 9,600, 12%. Did everyone understand this? Any confusions in this? Now we have to count interest on past service cost. So add interest on past service cost. Raise your hand. How will you count interest on past service cost? How will you count interest on past service cost? Raise your hand. See, listen everyone, if extra amount was not kept aside, 12%, means it was not increased to 12%, it was 10% only. Then how we would have counted? First year we kept aside 4105. On that we received interest of 411. Listen carefully what I am explaining. I am explaining you if it was not increased to 12%, but suppose it was kept 10% only. It was not increased to 12%, it was kept 10% only. Then first year we kept aside 4105. Plus second year we received interest on that of 411. Plus in second year we kept aside 4512. So 4105 plus 4512 plus 411. This is a total accumulated amount in 2 years. On that you would count interest at the rate of 10%. This we would have done if it was not increased to 12%. But now it is increased to 12%, means practically now to the employee we have to give 12% in the past 2 years, which we are going to amortize. We are going to amortize that. But now 2007 onwards, we don't have to count on 8,000. We have to count on 2007 onwards. Now we don't have to count on 8,000. We have to count on 9,600. So, and we are going to keep that extra amount aside in the remaining years. So now the interest on past service cost what will arise is not on 8,000 but on 9,600. So first, 9,600 this factor will find out. If we would have kept aside, it would have been how much in 2005? Then 9,600 this factor will find out. If we would have kept aside, it would have been how much in 2006? And this also, instead of 4105, we would have received 10% of 9,600's value, that will count. On that will count 10% as interest on past service cost. Therefore, I first explain you 10% so that you understand it. If this was not increased to 12%, but it was, then how you would have counted interest on past service cost? 4105 plus 4512 plus 411. But this is if it was 10%. So now if it is 12%, then instead of 4105 it would become 9,600 into 0.513. Instead of 8,000 into 0.564, it would become 9,600 into 0.564. And this amount, instead of 10% of 4105, you would count 10% of 9,600 into 0.513. So these three amounts into 10% would be the interest on past service cost. Any confusion in this? Is everyone clear with that? Leave around 3-4 lines. We'll make workings for that. First working we are making for 2007's interest on past service cost. Okay, first working we are making for 2007's interest on past service cost. First we find past service cost. Okay, so what is past service cost? This problem would not have arisen if 10% was not increased to 12%. Straight we would have done 4105 plus 4512 plus 411 into 10%. But now 2005 past service cost would be, instead of 8,000,